So Ram Dass, be here now. Last night we read about Sadhana. That's the way I pronounce it. Mamta was here, and it's pronounced Satna. Satna. So instead of Sadhana, I guess the ha is not pronounced. So it's Satna. Sadhana. And what sadhana is your spiritual practice or your spiritual journey, your path. But it's your attention to your path. So it's not just this path that you're trying to get on but you don't know anything about. You know what I mean? It's your study and your practice and your work on your spiritual path. So Todd, what was the definition? Exertion of...
Spiritual exertion towards an intended goal.
Spiritual exertion towards an intended goal. Sadhana. Okay? So that's what our... that's last night's work. That's what we read last night, and it's actually very interesting. It's already up live as a podcast. So you can go to iTunes, you can go to YouTube, you can go to energiesbalance.com, any of those places to re-listen to the podcast. In case you're following along with the information and you're actually interested, please go to the podcast and listen to that free as many times as you'd like to. And there are many different options. You can get it, mobile, any of your mobile devices, your telephone, your iPads, iPods, whatever. So last night we read that the chapter last night was called The Course of Sadhana, The Course of Sadhana. And this next chapter is called Setting. Setting. So I guess that's setting in once you get on the path. As you begin to calm your mind through meditation or mantra, you become increasingly aware of the forces acting upon you, forces within as well as outside of your body. Previously, you sought continuous stimulation, but now you gravitate towards situations in which there is less and less stimulation. For some well advanced upon the path, the cave, the traditional haunt of yogis, is sought. For here the rock is insulation against many of the subtle vibrations which are distracting for those who have become sensitive. Where there is fire or in water or on ground which is strewn with dry leaves, where there are many anthills, where there are wild animals or danger, where four streets meet, where there is too much noise, where there are many wicked persons, yoga must be practiced. For most Westerners embarking upon their sadhana, a cave is neither a desirable or even possible alternative. Not desirable in the sense that their karma still requires commerce with worldly situations, with worldly stimulation. Under such conditions, the seeking out of a cave and attempting to pursue a sadhana, such as that of the Tibetan renunciate, Milarepa, can start out and remain a subtle ego trip. It would seem wiser to start your sadhana from exactly where you are, and then let any changes occur in your style of life and environment in a slow and natural fashion. For it is true that at the early stages, any waves you make in carrying out your sadhana merely create more karma. Let your inner pull towards enlightenment lead you, so to speak. Let the light pull you towards itself, like the moth to a flame. You will finally seek more and more pure environments because you have to, because it's the only thing you can do, not because you think you ought to. Where you are at this point is the first thing to access. Married or single, children, parents, existing contracts with other beings, social, economical, religious, national, etc., available opportunities. Perhaps the most appropriate initial step in view of your present predicament is to continue with your daily life in the customary manner with the simple addition of a mantra. Such a mantra can initially be used for 15 minutes in the morning and evening and suggested by Maharaji in his program for transcendental meditation. You can set up a corner in your room for this purpose. Create a quiet corner in your home, an Om home, a launching pad to the infinite, a meditation seat, a shrine. Bring to it that which is simple and pure, a mat, perhaps a candle, maybe a picture of a realized being whose life has turned you on, like Buddha or Christ or Ramakrishna or Ramna Maharaji, possibly some incense. Create a seat in which you can sit comfortably with the spine straight and turn off the body. If you've developed the triangular seat of Padmasana, full lotus, Siddhasana, half lotus, or Sukhasana, the easy pose, remember, no suffering. In this corner, establish a regular ritual for purification, for reflection, for calming the mind. Just as waters wear away stones, so daily sadhana will thin the veil of adviya, ignorance. At quite the opposite end of the continuum is the total moment-to-moment discipline of each thought and act required in a monastery or ashram. Here is but one example. Presently functioning in the United States, it's a Zen Buddhist center in California, and he puts a picture there, and you probably can't see that, but how peaceful and quiet it is and seems. I'll read a poet quote from Sadhana. I know and that I don't know, but I forget. I see that I am blind, and I see the blinding light in everything, but I forget. I see what I know, I think I know what I see, but sometimes I forget. And this is the way it should be. At the end of every forget, I remember. That's Lonnie Brown. I don't know who Lonnie Brown is. I have no idea. Do y'all know? Do y'all have any questions? So last night, and what he really was talking about is that whole staying on the journey and what to expect during the journey, during the spiritual work. Sometimes it's disappointing. You think, oh, is this really working? Or is this what should even happen? Or what am I really doing? That sort of thing, and there's steps to that, is very natural when you're practice sadhana. So do y'all have any questions? There's so many people, you can't be this quiet. There's like 5 of us last night. No, there was more than that, but.
So the spiritual journey is about being out in the world, doing life.
No.
No,
It's being in. The spiritual journey is more attention, or it's allowing yourself to study and to understand things that bring you to that point. Do you see what I mean? Of self-realization. It's kind of it's being inward. It's inner work more so than external work. That's why he says you can use a mantra even, or meditation.
I've heard Ram Dass talk about using things like your compassion for other people as a practice, or as your love for God or energy as a practice, using Hatha Yoga as a practice to go into that quietness, to allow yourself to still be quiet in the noisy world.
Yep. Yes, that's exactly what it is. See, we come to yoga, the reason we come to this sort of class here is so that we can practice the asana and possibly the pranayama of the practice. And that's just 2 parts of the 8 limbs of yoga. That's only 2 parts. There's 8 parts. So there's a lot of other practicing going on. Concentration, contemplation, meditation. There's morals, there's do's, there's don'ts, there's diet. there's this whole big, long kind of lifestyle that's yoga. See, when you come here to asana, you may think, well, I'm coming to exercise, or maybe I ate too much over the holidays and I need to work that off, or my back is sore from working, and that's fine. But that's just a very small part of yoga. And the asana is, guess what it's for? It's to cleanse and detox your body. It's to open your body. It's to open the parts of our bodies that have been blocked through our minds, which it all happens. So those tight spots that we have, those are blockages. They're not just accidentally there because we decided we didn't want to exercise. They're there for a reason, and they're there so that we can focus our attention there. But when you come and you practice asana, and when you come and you practice pranayama, and you practice correctly and consistently, and you allow those things to do their work, you can then meditate. You can then practice sadhana. Because otherwise you can't sit still long enough to do it. And see, when I say that, everyone in the room stops wiggling. It's the truth. How can you meditate? You can't sit still. Your back would start to hurt in maybe a minute. If not your back, your knee, your ankle, your shoulder, your head, your neck. And if that didn't happen, the next thing that would happen is your mind would take off. And it would go to the past or the future. That's the purpose of the mantra, to keep you present. That's why we use the mantra, to keep you present. See, guys, we've been in this cookbook for, it seems like a year that we've been in the cookbook, reading the cookbook of life. So if you've been missing all of this, again, you can rehear these things. Like I said this last night, it is really your responsibility. It's your responsibility to seek truth. It's your responsibility to seek knowledge. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself, and not just the physical. It's your responsibility to understand the spiritual side of you, which we all are spirit. We're spiritual beings. But it's your responsibility. Hello, everyone. This is Lisa J. from Energy's Balance. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that this last episode, there were about 10 minutes that were cut out of the episode. So some of your responses are not recorded. And I'd like to apologize for that. They were all really wonderful, great responses. But again, technical difficulties there. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.